Got dreams of being a professional podcaster, but have no idea what you're doing?
This is impossible.
That's about to change.
A new kind of school.
Welcome to the Pod School Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the show. Today's episode is inspired by Michel. He emailed me from somewhere exotic, I'm guessing by the name Michel, and told me that the thing that was holding him back from starting his podcast was the sound of his own voice. And this is one of those things that holds so many people back, and I do not want it to hold you back. There is no need for what would typically be called a radio voice if you want to be a podcaster. The most important thing when it comes to podcasting is making a connection with your audience, and you do not need a great voice to do that. If you are really passionate about what you do, if you turn up week in, week out, wanting to serve your audience, and you are genuinely trying as best you can to connect with them through the content that you bring, then the sound of your voice will make little to no difference. Sure, if you are shrieking left, right, and center like a banshee, then it's going to get a bit on the nose. But if you know you have a really high-pitched voice that can be super screechy, then you're just going to have to rein it in a little bit and not get screechy for the entire 15-minute episode or however long your episode is. There is no right or wrong when it comes to your voice. And the interesting thing about your voice that you will notice when you do more audio stuff and you do more podcasting and you practice being behind the microphone a lot is that your voice will actually change. If you are wearing your headphones, which you should be at all times, you're able to sort of self-process what's going into the ears of your listeners. You'll have an immediate feedback loop because you'll be able to hear your voice, how it will come out of the speakers to somebody else. And the more practice you get, the more you'll be able to adjust your performance style so that what you're hearing in your ears is as best as it possibly can be. You're never going to jump on the microphone if you've never been on a microphone before and nail it first time. Anything that you do is always going to take time to master. But even if you don't think you have a radio voice, it will develop in some way over the time as you practice more and more. But more than anything else, all your audience cares about is personality and connection. And sometimes if your voice is really unique and different, that can be such a huge benefit because people really like somebody who sounds different and unique. They don't want somebody who sounds exactly the same as everybody else. And for God's sakes, nobody wants to listen to anybody who sounds like they're doing a voiceover for the entire show. The idea that you think you have to sound like that, if you do sound like that, you're going to lose your connection with the audience because anybody listening is going to think, my God, this sounds like I'm being sold to. Your uniqueness is what is going to make your audience love you. So if you are doubting yourself in any way in that regard, and if the sound of your voice is holding you back, do not let it. Jump on the microphone, jump in the deep end, get practicing, get started, and understand that it matters so much more about your passion and your connection than it does with how you sound. Your audience will love that you don't sound like everybody else. And nobody in their right mind has ever heard themselves on tape and thought, I love that. We all hate the sound of our own voice. Nobody thinks that they sound the way that they do when they hear it in their ears when it's been recorded. This is just a fact of life. Let it go. Don't worry about it. It's no reason why you can't be a podcaster. So get on the mic, quit being scared. It's all going to be fine. Thanks so much for listening. I hope that has given you the confidence to just give it a whirl no matter what you think you sound like, because I promise you will always sound better than you think you do. If you, like Michelle, have a bit of a comment or a question or a query or a conundrum, you can always get in touch at podschoolpodcast.com. Just click the contact page there. You can also get my online tech guide that will show you all of the tools and tech you need to set up your home studio, and a link to my online podcasting course, Pod School. I'll see you next week, and until then, happy podcasting. Oh, and remember, you sound amazing.
That's all for today.